Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to show you how to cut a basic double-breasted blouse like this, as you can see. So if you like this kind of stuff, just keep watching, and if you've not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that whenever I post a video you will get notified. So let's just go into the tutorial. As you can see, I'm twerking for you guys. So starting from the center of my fabric, this fabric is already on a fold of 2. I marked 3 inches, and this 3 inches is for the overlap. Now if you're hearing any noise, just know these are people doing pre-Valentine vibes. I can't help the noise, I just have to do this voiceover, so just ignore. Okay, listen to what I'm saying. Thank you. So I marked 3 inches across the entire length of the whole fabric, and when I was done marking the 3 inches, I used my ruler and connected it into a straight line, as you can see. Now when I was done with that, from the marked point, from the 3 inches marked point, I extended my tape backward or forward, however you can see it, and also marked 3 inches. Now it's from this point I am marking the normal dimension for my neckline, and from there I extended my tape forward and marked my shoulder line at my shoulder point at 9.5 inches. I put my tape downwards, marked half an inch to form my shoulder slant, and I connected it like so. So from my shoulder point I extended my tape downwards and I marked 8 inches for my armhole, and I drew my armhole curve. Then from that point I marked my waist. Now from the center of the fabric I extended my tape downwards and marked 7 inches. Now depending on how you want the double breast to be, you might not want your cleavage to show. Depending on how much skin you want to show, you might want to take 4 inches, 3 inches, but I normally work with 7 inches here, and my bust didn't show at all. So when I marked that, I just drew sort of like a curvy, it's not really a V, it started as a V but it ended up like a rounded neckline, and I drew it from my neckline and crossed the allowance for the overlap. As you can see, I wanted to make it a little more curvy because I know it's an overlap and my normal neckline is just 3 inches, so I wanted it to be as open as possible. So what I was trying to do here was I was trying to carve in more space into my neckline. So from the center of my fabric I marked the measurement of my bust, the measurement of my waist, and the hem of my blouse. So I marked my waist, I marked my under bust, my waist, and the hem of my blouse. Sometimes I just like to take my hips measurement at that hem, depending on how you want it to be sometimes. So when I was done marking, I used my ruler and connected the points together. Now this marking is inclusive of allowance, okay, so have that at the back of your mind. When I was done marking out my measurement, I went over to cutting out what I've just drafted. So you want to notch that point where the allowance of your overlap stopped, because that is what will guide you throughout the sewing of the double breast. So mark the top and mark the bottom as well. I didn't show where I marked the top here, but I marked both points. So mark the top, mark the bottom. So this is what it looks like when I was done drafting the front part. You can see the nice overlap there. Now I'm going to go over to cut the back, so you know how to incorporate the back into the front. So you make sure you have like an accurate neckline dimension. This is just a quick view. You can see where the overlap is sitting. Now that overlap is the middle, that notched point is the middle of the blouse. In case you're wondering how we get the middle of the blouse, that notched point is the middle of the blouse. So now to the back, this is on a fold of 2. I'm taking my neck width at 9 inches and my neck depth at 1 inch. Not 9 inches, sorry, my neck width at 3 inches and my neck depth at 1 inch. So from there I just connected the 2 marked points together. Then I went over to mark out my shoulder line, my shoulder point. And like I said in the previous video, you have to add like 1 inch allowance to your normal shoulder measurement, because you need this to shape out the sleeve. If you've not watched the previous video, just make sure you watch it at the end of this video. It will really help your shoulder line and your armhole. So when I was done marking out my shoulder points, I connected my shoulder slant. Then I took the normal armhole measurement, which is at 8 inches, the armhole depth measurement at 8 inches, and I drew my armhole curve. I still want to talk a lot about my neckline. You can see in the front bodies the normal neckline was just 3 inches, so you don't have to bother about the other 3 inches that you marked for the overlap. You just have to bother about the original neckline dimension, which is the 3 inches, and that is why at the back I marked 3 inches for my neck width and 1 inch for my neck depth. So just have that at the back of your mind in case you're facing a confusion. So after marking my armhole curve and drafting my armhole curve, I went ahead to mark my underbust and my waist point, and from the center of my fabric I just marked out my measurement, and my allowance is also included in the measurement. So if my waist is, let's say 7, I'm going to mark like 8 or 9, because I'm going to be picking my dart and other things. So what I did here is I actually added 2 inches extra allowance for sewing and picking of that. Understand? So when I was done, I just cut out through the outline I've created. So this is what it looks like when I was done cutting. Now to sew the front, I've gone ahead to cut the lining for the front bodies. I lined only the front bodies here, and what I did here is for the left hand side, I'm going to sew like this. I'm going to sew that way, turn it over and top stitch the neckline. That's what I did for the left hand side. So for the right hand side, I'm going to overlap. I'm just going to top stitch round. I'm not going to sew and turn over. So I just top stitched the side, the center, and the shoulder and the neckline. So that's what I did for the overlap front bodies. So I took over to my sewing machine, joined it, top stitched it. Flipped it over and top stitched the neckline on the lining. I also top stitched the armhole and the side, so I just made sure the lining was well placed on the fabric and everything was, you know, nice, clean, crepes and put together. So I went over to do same for the other side. It's just that for the other side I top stitched throughout. I didn't have to turn over the center front like I did on the left hand side. For the right hand side I just top stitched all over. I top stitched the center, I top stitched the neckline, the armhole, and everything. So this is what it looks like, and at this point I think I've given it a good press here. I can't remember. Yeah, I've given it a good press off camera. So this is what it looks like after I was done sewing and top stitching. So after that I went over to draft my dart. Now for my dart I didn't just do like a basic gown dart here. I sort of tried to mimic a princess dart, not a princess dart, like a bustier dart. So I drafted what I would normally draft for my dart, for my princess dart bustier. It's just that I sort of angled it. You guys just look at what I'm doing. I don't know how to explain this for you. If you need a tutorial on this, let me know, okay? Just let me know. So if you are used to cutting a bustier, you really understand what I was trying to mimic here. I didn't just want it to be like a plain normal gown dart, no. So that center is where like my underbust will normally sit. So that's just what I did here. Just look at what I'm doing. If you need a detailed tutorial on this type of dart, just let me know in the comment section. So from that point I marked my underbust. That's what I did here. The top marking was my nipple point, so I marked my underbust and I just marked 1/2 inch on both sides. Just a very simple dart, and I connected them with my ruler. So this is basically what I did, ladies and gentlemen. This is what I did. So when I was done connecting it to that point, I also did an angled connection to the bottom, because this is not like a blouse that has a peplum, so the dart has to have a tapered end. So this is what I did here, okay? So I did this for both sides of the front piece. So this is the second side, and after drafting it I just took it over to my sewing machine and I sewed my dart. I picked my dart. I picked the dart for the left hand side, I picked the dart for the right hand side. I also sewed I did this very carefully. I did this very slowly, because when you make mistake with your front dart, it's just very obvious and it's something that can ruin your dress. So if you want to sew this dart, just make sure you take your time and do it slowly. If you make a mistake, just loosen it and start again, okay? Yeah, so that's what I did. I picked the dart for both the left hand side and the right hand side. So when I was done sewing the dart for both parts of the front bodies, I went over to pick the dart for the back part of my blouse. When I was done sewing my dart, I gave it a really good press. You can see the dress is already taking shape. You can see my waist has already curved out because of the dart I picked. So you guys know ironing is very important. So this is me pressing the darts out and make sure that the shape comes out well and nice, and it's smooth. Like this voiceover is the weirdest voiceover I've done, but you guys understand what I'm saying. Like I said before when I started this video, if you hear any noise, you guys, I'm filming this voiceover a day before Valentine. People are on high spirits. Okay, people are in high spirits. So now to pipe my neckline and the center of my front bodice or front part, what I'm going to pipe that way, and I'm going to, remember we turned here over, so I can't pipe it. I'm just going to pipe the neckline, which is going to be the visible part. Let's just go over that again. I'm going to pipe the center, you can see it's a raw edge, and the neckline as well with my white bias. That's for the right hand side, and for the left hand side I'm just going to pipe the neckline because it's a raw edge. So this was just what I did here. And first of all, I didn't pipe. Oh jeez, you guys forgive me. First of all, I used my facing to turn over the neckline for the back bodies, and I top stitched. So I was turning over the neckline for the back bodies in the first clip. Now I am piping the front bodies with the bias. Like, you guys should just forgive this voiceover, I'm so tired. Forgive me, just forgive me, but you can see what I'm doing. So when I was done piping, I also went over to top stitch the bias because I wanted it to be put, I wanted it to be in place. And when you want, because this is the front part of the dress, you want to make sure your stitches are straight and they are not clumsy. So if you're a beginner, just do this part really slowly. Like, take your time, you don't have to rush, do it really slowly. So when I was done sewing the bias to the front part, I gave it a really good press. That thing I'm using is a magic cloth, and it came with my Binatone iron. Because that's like a white bias, I didn't want it to get stained, so I just used a magic cloth to prevent it from stain and transfer of gum that was already on my iron. So when I was done with the whole ironing and okay, I matched the notched points together because that is the center of the blouse, and I secured all the points with some office pins. Now, because this is a double-breasted blouse, knowing the center of the blouse is very important because this helps the fitting of the blouse. So I was just securing the pins together, and with the aid of the notched points, I was able to get the center of the blouse. This is why you have to notch. So this is what it looks like after I'm done notching. Just want to give you a quick view. That's the center of the blouse. The notch point is the center of the blouse. Now this is the back part, already turned over the neckline. Then this is the front part of the blouse. So what I did here is I just laid the front part on the back part and made sure every place matched, and I'm just going to join the shoulder lines and the sides. So I took it over to my sewing machine. I'm so biting my tongue in this voiceover, and I joined both sides of the blouse. I did this for the second side as well, and I also went ahead to join my sleeve to the blouse. So I just did a basic one kind puffy sleeve. You guys will see it at the end of this video. It's not a really serious sleeve, so I just joined it to the blouse. So this is what it looks like when I was done sewing the sides and joining the sleeves and turning over the hem of the blouse. This is what it looks like. I know you're wondering, Ada, where is the zip for this blouse? How are we supposed to get into this blouse? I'm going to show you in a moment what we are going to use. Like, we have a secret, I have a secret weapon. It's coming, yeah. So I'm going to be attaching a press button to this blouse at strategic points. At that point, that point. I didn't really put one there, but I put one further in. So this is the final look of the blouse. Don't you just love this blouse? If you've watched up to this point, just give this video a big thumbs up. Okay, give this video a big thumbs up. If you've not subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. It means a lot to me. Subscribe and hit the notification bell so that whenever I post a video, you get notified. Also, try out this tutorial. Please try it out and tag me on Facebook, Instagram, wherever you are. Till next time, I love you. Bye.